Consider that there are no definite answers in life. So when I have a question and come up with an answer, either by searching books or podcasts or by my own thoughts, none of them are 100% right. Hey everyone, this is Call to Question, and today I'm actually questioning something that is, I think, very important in every person's life. That is his or her major in university and what we actually should do about that. They say people should be sorted by their IQ. And by that thing, you can just find out which field to go in university or just what role you play in society. For example, they say the smartest people should study philosophy because philosophy produces grand theories, and grand theories can actually make everyone's life either good or bad. It can actually shift the destiny of people's lives all around the world. A step of IQ below that, they say people should go to management. Every management, I don't know, economy management. But why? Because managers are also going to make bigger decisions again and again. A step below that, people should go into engineering. Because, for example, when they build a building and an earthquake just happens, the building just needs to be solid. And we have lots of fields in engineering, I mean, aerospace engineering and so on. And the last level of IQ should go to medicine and should be doctors. But why? We push our good kids to study medicine, study engineering, but the society just needs those who actually study humanities. And humanities majors are those who just get ignored and overlooked. They say in medicine, after 5 years, 10 years, most patients are just going to be repeating themselves. The disease are going to be repeated. And they say just it doesn't take much for the doctor, and it's just a set of patterns that are just continuing to happen for that doctor. And they just know what they have to recognize. But I tell you that critical thinking needs to be cultivated in people. And I'll definitely look into this in more videos and I'll explain critical thinking as well. Or for example, they say people with highest IQs should study mathematics, physics, and something like astronomy. So you tell me, which one of these three that I'm going to tell you do you think that should determine a person's major, a person's career? One is interest. Do you think that interest just influence one's career path, I mean? Or number two, you think talent is going to influence someone's career path? Or number three, you think intelligence is going to do that for that person? I'm pretty sure that there are some other factors that I can think of right now. You tell me down in comments that you, with your own career, with your own job, what and which factor that I said, or what factor that you just think of, maybe interest, talent, intelligence, just influenced your life. Personally, if I just want to tell you about my own thoughts, what is my own opinion, is that I think people's brain gets wired based on whatever they repeated throughout their life. And that repetitive things that they have do, for example, always solving puzzles, like something like this in a very, very old, in very young ages. And actually, that can make them feel like they have some talent in that special kind of major. As I told you, for example, a child who just solved puzzles throughout his or her life and solved brain games from young ages, their parents unknowingly just raised them to be problem solvers. And now that person can actually apply that step by step problem solving. That is the ability for that person to all kinds of different things, issues, problems, and everything. For example, if the same child, when he just grows up and get a flat tire in the middle of an, I don't know, highway, or just his car or her car breaks down in the middle of an highway, several things would come to his or her mind, like series of patterns that he could do. Either they're just quick or long-term patterns. Actually, what should he do to solve that problem? Should he just call his friend? Does he just know how to get the tire fixed? Or he may think that because he didn't help the beggar that this morning at that day, now just this incident is the consequences of that thing, that manner that he just had. And he's just going to have superstitious thoughts. So no matter how his brain works, it will either benefit him or not. So in my view, I think two things determine a person's educational path or the path of his career. First is that you've practiced basics and fundamentals of something, and you have practiced well enough that you just start to understand that you're not going to be tired in the future about that major, about that career, about that study that you're just studying. You know that you haven't gotten tired and you are not going to be tired in the future. And I think that's a really important point for someone's career and someone's life. I mean, you've just understand that no matter what just happens in that career, in that job that you've chosen, your passion won't get under 50%. You're sometimes 80% enthusiastic, sometimes feel bad and 49%. But at last, you just find a lot of joy in your job. And this is the thing that eventually will keep you up. The second thing that in my view is that without even realizing it, your interest in that subject grows more and more, and you naturally keep going with it. Myself as an example, I was never a good and a smart person in mathematics. I mean, I just don't know numbers. I can solve math problems. I mean this seriously. I might completely mess up in multiplying two digits. I mean digit numbers. But I had friends that you just had to put a math problem in front of them and they just would pick it up, solve it, piece of cake. And I'd be just standing there dumbfounded. On the other hand, I have a more talent of learning languages, different languages. I mean, I at least see myself succeeding in it. I've learned English, I've learned a bit Germany, and it's been 2 years that I've started learning Chinese language. And I'm having fun. I mean, yes, my brain just works to learn languages, different languages. I also know a bit Arabic. I mean, sometimes it gets hard. And you know Chinese is the hardest language ever. But my passion has always been above 50%. So I'm going to continue this. So that's the point of this video. Saying that someone with high intelligence, with a smart mind, should study philosophy doesn't mean that a doctor is not as smart, or doesn't mean that, I don't know, medicine and medicine majors are just worthless. I don't mean that by those sentences that I said. It doesn't mean human lives doesn't matter, because if that were true, what about nurses and emergency teams? I mean, what about firefighters? Okay, I just don't mean that humans' lives doesn't matter. And I don't mean that someone who is a doctor is a foolish person, okay? I myself just wanted to be a doctor in some point in my life, maybe about 6 years ago. But I just found myself studying languages, different languages, and I love it. The reason that philosophy just requires so much IQ and requires high intelligence is that philosophers create ideologies. And it genuinely takes a lot of effort and takes a lot of intelligence to not to make something flawed, not to create a flawed theory, one that could drag the whole world through misery and darkness for centuries. And ultimately and at last, no one should be forced into any particular field. Each person, given their own circumstances, would actually finally figuring out what the hell is going in his or her life and what actually suits that person, what actually their soul would adjust to, and what is their destiny to follow. Okay, that's it for today's video. I hope you've liked it, and if you liked it, please consider supporting the channel. We just need your support by liking, subscribing, I don't know, sharing this video with those who have just some entrance exams to go to their college, their dream college, or just they may think that that college is their dream college. And the people who just confused with their path, with their things that is going on in their lives. In this channel, I try to answer some questions that everybody have in different situations in our lives, in everyday life. And I'm Ghazal. This is Call to Question. And as always, stay tuned, stay on call.